Backtrack, open up the set under Social Engineering Tools. Under set, you're going to choose option 1, Social Engineering Attacks. Then choose option 10, the PowerShell attack vectors. Then choose option 1 for the alphanumeric shellcode injector. And go ahead and enter your IP as the payload listener here. And use whatever port you like. I'll use 4444. While it's generating this code here, when create a folder, we can place all the files you're going to need. You're going to need the 32-bit version of .exe converter. And then you're going to need to make 3 text files. Name them whatever you like. I used 1 set up 2 pre-stage and 3-stage. Find an icon file you're going to need for your EXE. It's optional, but I used Resource Hacker to pull one off of PuTTY. And then you're going to need the EXE. And for this, we're going to be using PuTTY EXE. Then in your first text file, add these lines here. Add echo off, CLS, clear the screen, start, space, dot, backslash, and then your 2 pre-stage dot back file. And then you can do the same thing for the PuTTY EXE file. And under your second text file, enter these lines, echo off, CLS, and then you're going to want this one to run the 3-stage dot batch file, and then end. In the 3-stage bat, what you're going to do is you're going to take the code generated by set for the x86 based PowerShell injection code. And that's going to be under the computer file system, under pen tests, exploits, set. And this is where all your other stuff goes when you use the set, by the way. You can go to the reports folder in PowerShell. You're going to take the text from the x86 PowerShell injection, which also works on x64 or 64-bit operating system. You're going to want to copy and paste this text into your 3-stage text file, or whatever you need it. And there's a couple of glitches you guys might notice here. The screen recording program I was using was being a big piece of shit. Go ahead and rename all your text files to .dat to turn them into batch files. So once you have your batch files, go ahead and start the bat-to-exe converter for 32-bit, which will also run in 64-bit. And Wine will handle all the emulation for this thing to run inside Linux. You could also do this from Windows if you'd like. Alright, we're going to use our first batch file here, which is setup. and this will also name the file for you. You could rename it here, or you can rename it later like I will. And under the visibility, choose invisible application. Then here, leave deleted exit. Don't forget to add administrator manifest. Very important, you'll see why here in a second. And then choose temporary directory. Under include, go ahead and add the other files we created, which will be your pre-stage, your stage, and your PuTTY.exe, or any executable. As long as you name everything right in the batch files, you could do this with any EXE. Under version information, you can add any custom icon file you like. I'm going to use the PuTTY.exe icon. This will make everything seem more legitimate to the victim. You can add anything you like in these lines. The more legitimate looking, the better, I suppose. Then under the program settings tab here, you won't have to enter anything. And if you are running this in Windows and running some sort of antivirus, you may need to allow it when you hit compile. I'll be doing this in Linux. It won't be asking me for that. And when you go to the main folder that you created, wherever the original batch file you use, it will store that in there. And you can rename it here, like I said. I'm going to rename it PuTTY, since that's the program we're technically binding with, or spoofing, cloaking, whatever you want to call it. Take that and paste it into your flash drive. That was one of those glitches. Alright, so we have our file now in our flash drive. Let me check it out of my virtual here. There's my host operating system picking it up. Close this out. Open it up in our victim virtual, which is Windows 7 32-bit. Like I said, it'll work in your 64 bits as well. Okay, go ahead and start your listener and use the x86. Then we'll open the folder here. And let's pretend we don't trust the guy that gave us this file, or the victim doesn't trust us. Won't be running it as administrator more than likely. We'll probably scan with his antivirus. And Avast didn't detect anything here. And I did run this file in an online file scanner, and I believe 4 out of maybe 20 actually detected anything. So odds are good that someone won't be catching this. If you notice, I ran that as a sandbox, and it set the stage, and it created my meterpreter session there. So I'll move this window around. See how it's in the sandbox. And let's say the guy says, well, I don't want to run this anymore. I don't trust it. Closes it, I'll cancel, whatever. The session is still open because it's running in a completely different process. I'll go ahead and interact with the session here so you can see what I'm talking about. When you do it this way, there's 2 processes you want to keep an eye out for. Of course, PowerShell. And there's one called conhost, which I didn't see the first time. I'm narrating this, by the way. And then scroll down, and there it is, 3252. And we're going to migrate into that process. And conhost is a console host EXE that runs from System 32 in Windows. It's really the key to all the good stuff we're going to be doing here. So migration completed. With the 3252, which is the conhost EXE. Okay, so first we'll do a get UID just to show you where we're at. We're a regular old user. We're going to do get system here. And that's going to give us what we want. There we go. Do technique 1, you get UID again, and now you see that we are NT authority. And that lets us do practically anything we really need to do. Favorite thing, of course, is PostScripts. We're going basic one here. I believe I used run hash dump. That'll give us all the hashes we need. Any of you hardcore meterpreter heads, stop watching now. You pretty much know what to do. But anyone kind of new to this, to give you an idea of what kind of stuff you can do when you're NT authority. So you'll see there's 2 user accounts here, Bob and You've Been Hacked. So we do shell, which drops us into a pretty much a command line or shell on the victim. So we'll do a basic net user command here. So we'll do holy crapola /add. And there we go, completed successfully. And I go to log off, switch user. You'll see that there it is. Completely brand new user. No password. If you wanted to add a password, you would just do username space and enter the password you want. And go ahead and put the /add. You can also remove users using this command. Here I do a basic example of how you can use PowerShell from this as well to stop or start services. I use the firewall service, which had already actually been stopped. So I kind of fast forwarded to this scene, so I wouldn't kill too much time. So I go and start the service, and then stop it again, just to show you you can use the PowerShell commandlet to do a little more damage if you like. There it is. Firewall is turned off. And so from here, we're going to show you what the regular way of doing this was to either create a batch file with the text from the x86 PowerShell code, or you could copy and paste the code into a command line, which nobody's really going to do. So you scan the batch file, comes up clean, you start your listener, you run the batch file, creates the stage and the session there. But when you have a session, you can't really do much. You'll see here, do PowerShell or list processes there. And you see the PowerShell, you see the conn house, but with this method, you can't do much. Even if you migrate into the correct process here, you try doing a get UID, you get that, and you do getsystem, and then boom, nothing. And this pretty much happens with any process you try migrating into and trying to run getsystem. So hopefully, you know, you can see the benefits of doing it my way. You know, one, you can definitely have someone run an EXE a lot easier than you could a batch file, or have them copy and paste something into command line. Most victims probably wouldn't even know how to do that, or definitely wouldn't trust anyone to do that. But that's pretty much it. Try migrating into another process here. Pretty long video. And you'll just keep getting the access is denied. You won't get anywhere. There you go. And here I just run my EXE, and if you notice when I run my EXE, you'll see that batch file run real quick in the background. Most people wouldn't catch it. So start the listener again. Scanned, no threat. Run it sandbox. There's that tiny little command window. Nobody would even notice it. And there's my session. And there, putty accidentally took my PS commands from the keyboard. I migrated to the conn host or console host EXE. Get UID, get system. Voila. NT authority. If you have any questions, just leave me some comments, and I'll try to get back to you. Share the video if you'd like. Thank you all for watching.